Unfortunately, man, a lot of men would rather be miserable than vulnerable. And
Rewind.
it's the truth.
Let me sit over here. I don't want to sit by him.
A lot of men would rather be miserable than vulnerable. And what I mean by that is a lot of us suffer from the I'm cool syndrome. I'm good syndrome. When in reality, we know exactly what it is that we want from you, and we be hoping that you figuring it out one day instead of us just sitting you down and saying, look, baby, I need this from you. And a lot of women, especially a woman that's in a relationship, a woman that loves you, if you're able to have that kind of open communication, say, baby, I need, again, not want, not would like, not possibly, I need this from you. She gonna make it her mission to meet you there.
All right, shout out to my boy Trail, man. But I'm gonna pose this question to the panel. Why do you think men choose to endure misery rather than open up and show vulnerability? You trying to come off the mic, Angela, answer that?
I kind of wanted the guys to talk first.
Okay. It makes sense. I just seen you move forward, so I thought you was ready to charge in with this topic. Go ahead, Sharon. We ain't heard from you in a while. Why do you think many men choose to endure misery rather than open up and show vulnerability?
I mean, I know a lot of them probably wouldn't see it like this, but I honestly think it's because of fear. You know, you fear getting your feelings hurt. You fear, feeling like a punk or a bitch or whatever. But I've learned, and I said this, I think, on your past show, that it's like the toughest guys are able to be vulnerable, because it's like if you really a man, you will stand on how you feel no matter where you at, and I feel like the men who will rather be miserable are more so what people will say weak men. You know what I mean? Because I've had some gangsters that'll tell it like it, man, my feelings was hurt, good, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like some thugs, and it kind of switched my perspective where I was like, at the end of the day, I know that if I was to clown this person for feeling how they feel, there will probably be consequences for that. You know what I mean? Because that man is a stand-up guy. You know what I mean? But the man that's like, when I really, look deep within certain men that like have this sense of pride and ego, I know it's fear and I know it's really weakness, but it's disguised as them being tough, as them being like, macho or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because I called my homeboy today, like, hey, bro, you throwing a party. I haven't heard from you. I didn't want to take it personal, but what's the deal? And I could have just been sitting there, in my feelings like, man, F him, man. He didn't invite me. He didn't hit me up. But when I talked to him, he was like, oh, bro, the last party we had, this went down. And, I don't know about it this time because people got drunk and unruly. And I got the wife here and the kids. Then it brought me to a level of understanding where it's like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? But I could have just been in my feelings and just been miserable and just said, F him, man, he ain't messing with me, and made up some scenario in my mind. But I was vulnerable enough to call and tell him how I honestly felt. You know what I'm saying? So this happened today. You know what I'm saying? So I actually like practice this, and it's better for me and my mental health instead of sitting back and assuming. It takes more strength to get on the phone and call and check somebody than being miserable about it. You know what I'm saying? On the other end. You know what I mean? So it's like the way they look at it, I feel like it's just so misconstrued and fucked up, where it's like, nah, bro, the strength really is in letting people know how you feel. You know what I'm saying? So I'll just leave it at that.
I'm going to read the definition of vulnerability: the quality or state of being exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed, either emotionally. It must be cut off somewhere. It doesn't sound right on the back end, but harmed either physically or emotionally. Liability of partnership to higher penalties, either by convention or through having won one game toward a rubber. So I was raised by my grandfather. For the most part, he was the man that was the man figure in my life. He didn't teach me about women, but he taught me how to be a man. And one of the things that he taught me is, because it was just me and him at the time, my sister, my grandmother, my mother, and my aunt. and he didn't want the women to worry. So whenever we had a situation that was arise, we would see if we can handle it first. And if it was an emergency, then we let them know. But we go ahead and fix what we got to do because we don't want them to worry. So I was raised to really problem solve and try to figure things out on my own. I've never had too many situations where I had to be vulnerable when it came to that. So with vulnerability, I think there's levels to it. I think that if something is really troubling you and bothering you, then if you trust your wife or that woman, particularly if she's a wife, that you would be able to express certain things to her. But I'm not just about to be around crying and whining about everything. If I got a situation, I'm gonna figure it out. And typically, the women that I've dated or been with, they know that I'm gonna figure it out. I can count on my hands. I got 10 fingers on how many times that I wasn't able to figure something out. I'm gonna make a way. I'm gonna figure it out. And if I don't figure it out, then I do feel defeated. So uh, the most recent experience I had was my grandmother passing probably about 3 years, and I didn't shed a tear. I had my moments, but it wasn't in the moment. I was had to be strong for my grandfather and be strong for everyone else. I think somebody I spoke with, they said, "Hey, I don't think you really grieve yet." And I said, "You don't think so?" I said, "It's a possibility." And I have my moments, but I just got a tougher outer shell, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I do think some men cry a little bit more than others, but I'm a strong vessel. Um, but I just can't see myself folding to life because life is going to be up and down. There's going to be some unexpected experiences, but I just rather toughen it out. I have no problem expressing my feelings. So if I love somebody or if I care for them, then that's something that I will express to them. And it is what it is. I'm not going to have any remorse. And if it don't work out, it just don't work out. And if I could put forth some effort, then I will. But I just think it's just different levels on how I express myself, and I just have to. I just it's just not in me to be boohoo crying, and I have seen cases where men have expressed something, and it has been weaponized against them, or there's been a loss of respect. Unfortunately, does it happen all the time? No. Is it a possibility? Yeah, but that bond probably wasn't connected in such a way where it couldn't be broken. And that may have something to do with the lack of abilities for you to be able to vet properly. Who knows? But for some reason, she lost respect for you because you was crying and she wasn't used to it. She ain't never seen a man express themselves that way. So I'm kind of a little bit on the fence when women be like, "Open up to me. It's okay. It's okay." Death is another thing because who am I to tell somebody how to express themselves when it comes to death? Because we all grieve differently. But I'm just not gonna be boohoo and crying. I'm gonna toughen it. I'm gonna figure out a way, especially when it comes to having to push through for my family or the people that's I'm responsible for, or even the people just leading by example. Sometimes some people ain't meant to be tough. Everybody ain't meant to be leaders. Everybody ain't meant to tough it out. So that's how we balance. If everybody was alike on this earth, then shit, it'd probably be a boring place. So I'm okay. I don't talk about people that break down. I just be like, you all right, bro? If it's a woman, you all right? But it's just not me.